Hey folks, welcome back to the MTG Sunday Jank-Off, just with myself, Ben or Break, this weekend. Unfortunately, AlbinoCheesemonkey has had a family emergency come up and there was not time to get a replacement Jank-Off opponent. So we will just be doing some prep for coming weeks today, and AlbinoCheesemonkey will hope to be back next week. We stream every Sunday at 6:59 Eastern, which is 23:59 UTC, playing Jank Standard decks, new brews against each other every week, except for this one. So what are we doing today? We're going to work on, my face is in the way, we're going to work on this Jund Landfall deck. This is a rejank of Raise the Lands from early episodes in the series, which was a Golgari build, built around Iridescent Vine Lasher, ping the opponent when lands come into play, and Free Strider Lookout, which bring lands into play when you commit a crime, which includes pinging the opponent for Iridescent Vine Lasher. Now, we've had some effects similar to Vine Lasher come out recently, namely the Sabatender, which, similar landfall ability. This one doesn't deal damage to target opponent, it deals damage to each opponent, more powerful in multiplayer formats, but here it's just a worse version because damage to each opponent does not target and is therefore not targeting the opponent and is therefore not a crime. Tannock Memorial Ensign is similar, with the additional bonus that if you do it twice in a turn, you also draw a card. Still worthwhile. Even though they don't fuel the Free Strider Lookout, the fact that we have these two pinging landfall creatures in red makes it worth, I hope, we'll find out, adding red to this formerly Golgari deck. So we also have this cool little Ice Explorer at the top end to help us get additional landfalls and ramp up even more to our bring the lands back effect like Lumra. I have Aftermath Analyst here in the maybe board. I'm not sure if this card is worth it in this build or not. The meta has gotten pretty aggressive. We have some fun of one of Famous World Sire and Rise the Dark Realms for kind of combo-y landfall finishes. So that's kind of our main goal, is to determine, do we have the core of a playable deck here? We're going to work on that first. This is not yet a proper sideboard. This is mostly a deck building board. Cards that I might want to include, like Pitiless Carnage was in the previous combo version of this deck, but I'm not sure exactly what the deck needs yet. So, plan A, get the main deck set. Step 2, get the sideboard in good shape, and then it will return, once we're finished, to a future Jank-Off. So let's get right in some games. I note that now we have, since we're in 3 colors, we have 12 total ping lands, which will probably slow us down a fair amount, coming in tapped a lot of the time. Dealing 1 damage to target opponent is a crime, which does fuel the Free Strider Lookout. We'll see if Spelunking is worth it as a way to get these lands to enter untapped, and also additional lands entering untapped when we have combo turns. I'm excited to find out. It's possible we have too many Spelunkings, I'm not sure. It is a pretty favorite card of mine. So let's jump into the play queue just to get our initial deck tested, and then we'll move to ranked once we find out whether the strategy will work. I have run this deck for only a game or 2. So the last time we did a behind the scenes with the Teamer Dragonback Assault deck, I had saved that deck as kind of to do it behind the scenes. It was planned ahead of time. This was not planned. Beginning of the day, AlbinoCheesemonkey was hoping to be able to make the stream today. We'll be playing the decks we had next week instead. All that to say, I might have saved this. This looks good. We have some early and late action. This deck has a lot of lands, so I think we will skip on one of these lands. I think we want to put basics back in the deck. We're against aggro. This will not be good. They're going to kill us too quickly, frankly. I'm tempted to just concede against mono-red aggro. This isn't going to give us much valuable testing data because we're just not going to get past the early turns. Our deck isn't equipped with the interaction to do that. We can't block here because they can pump the Hired Claw at instant speed to destroy our Vine Lasher without themselves risking their claw at all. They are contemplating whether to use a burn spell on the Vine Lasher, probably. decide not to. Said they're going to play out another one. Oh, yeah, they do both. All right, well, we're just going to die this game, unfortunately, folks. I'm going to start playing some heavy music because this is what I like to listen to, folks. It's my stream. I do what I want to. I guess we Vine Lash again. I don't think they have a burn spell. We'll scoop if we see a Screaming Nemesis. What can I say? I know what to expect. No, we did not have fun against Mono Red. Right now, Mono Red is pretty well positioned, even though it's no longer a budget deck like it was a year or two ago. It's pretty well positioned against VV Cauldron, which is why you'll still see it quite often in the play queues. And it's there isn't really a budget deck currently in Standard. There's no like budget monocolor build. And once you get to dual color, you need to build all your rare lands for the deck to really do much. Can't keep this. We can try this. Put back the extra Lumra. This is against VV, which it probably is not. Usually they will not run Swiftwater Cliffs. It's possible this is a budget VV deck. They didn't invest in the lands. But we'll skip to VV. Just look, if you're out there running VV currently, when we know it's probably going to get banned later this month, this is almost certainly VV on a budget list. Middle finger to you. Like, deck's busted. We know it's the best deck in the format by a long shot. Play something fun. Okay, Charter Course is not typically played in VV lists. It could be a replacement for Prophetic Memory, since it's uncommon. We'll hold out hope. We can at least hear... I think we want to just Offspring or Vine Lashers, get maximum damage down. Hopefully we draw a land next turn. We have 27 lands in the deck. Quite a bit. Okay. Nice deck. There's just no point in playing against EV, even if they're on budget lands. Well, folks, this is kind of encapsulating how I feel about Standard lately, actually. Like, yikes. It's a turn 3 format now. Modern was a turn 4 format when it was created. This hand is probably too slow, but I'm going to keep it anyway. One thing I am saying is we do want more turn 1 untapped black sources. I went a little heavy on the swamps, I believe, in our land, basic land distribution. Oh, there's one. We'll do that. We are against Unknown. Could be Kona. Kona Yuna. Okay, yeah, our opponent's brewing. This is not a meta deck. Cage. Could be Selesnya Cage. Alright, what do we want? We probably want more black sources. We're going to play this down, get some pings. We have no real attacks, but the Vine Lasher can kind of defend for now. Next turn is going to be Forest, Spelunking, putting down Bristling Backwoods. Here's what Spelunking does. It's a favorite card of mine, but the Menace is too fast for it now. Okay, Bant Drunith. Our opponent is going to go wider than we can handle. If that last card is a Rubberoid, okay, that'll be a problem. What is this? Turn 3, our opponent has 9 creatures. Once again, welcome to current Standard, folks. Like, what the jank am I supposed to do? perfect curve right into Drunith. The Arabo's not even going to be... The copy's not even going to be legendary. Our opponent literally dumped their hand by turn 3. Just attack all, my guy. Or lady, or whatever. Succubus. We don't have any draws to get out of that, so why block? Ugh. Note that this is, I hope, a faster, more capable version of the deck that we janked off just earlier this year. Raise the Lands. I would have to look at exactly what the episode number was, but I think it was in the single digits. I'm now on episode 43 next weekend. We're probably just going to do the main deck a lot of removal, probably get rid of a lot of these ping lands. I'm feeling discouraged, folks. It'll be fine for the Jank-Off. It's just so unfun testing here. This isn't even on ladder. So next turn we can, I guess, put down Tannock as a blocker. They're mono green. It looks like they won't have a ton of removal. Then the turn after we're going to play Spelunking if we don't draw land, and Ice-Till Explorer if we do. The best draw is a fetch land, because we can play the fetch land. Fetch puts the fetch land in the graveyard. Fabled Passage is our current fetch land in Standard. Then play the Ice-Till. Okay, that'll be tapped. So Spelunking it is. Best draw here is any land. It is any land. Which will have Tannock draw us a card. Very good. It's a duplicate Tannock. We don't need that, but we can play out our Sabo Tender this round. And we'll stay on blocking duty. Do we trade against the Curator if they attack? Looks like we won't even have that option. Presumably they're going to put additional counters on the Curator. Why did they not level up their last talent? They must have a 1-mana instant, or they plan to attack with the elf? Yeah, they have... what's that card? Snakeskin Veil, which will put a +1/+1 counter at instant speed. I'm okay with them taking out our Tannock here because we have a duplicate. They'll cast it on the Paw Patch Recruit, I assume. If they don't, we trade our Sabatender for the Recruit, which is fine for now. Might have been bluffing. Okay. No, there's still a stick. It feels like they have something they could play. All right. We can play Lemur this turn because our lands will come into play untapped. That seems worth it. Yeah, they have Snakeskin Veil. I just don't know why they didn't choose to cast it, to be honest. Alright, we ramped into Lemur against mono green. We're in a lot better shape. Let's hope for some lands off this. Okay, just one. But that will get us our second trigger off Tannock, which will draw us a card. Alright, it's a land for next turn, a fetch land, which is perfect to go with the Ice-Till Explorer. We're not really winning this game by chipping in for 2 damage. Tannock is more valuable as a blocker. Yep, there's a Snakeskin Veil. Hold it. So, they're gonna draw the best card in their deck. They have 2 Innkeeper's Talents, which can both place counters on the Roboroid, which will then contribute 3 power to each of their other creatures, and their Himosimic Might will attack and give its power to another creature. We can trade and jump and stay alive. I don't really know that we have win con beyond that, though. I think we had a shot there if the opponent didn't draw the best card in their deck. Okay, nothing useful. Big attack all, we die. GG. I'm kind of wondering if, like, including early removal is even worth it or not. We kind of compromise the main game plan. I'm not sure if it's too much of a compromise. I don't know if this deck can really function as just a mid-range deck. It's really built as a combo deck, just kind of like Raise the Lands was. Just the meta is faster now. We can keep, we can get down by Unless on turn 2. Like that turn 1 with this draw. Good stuff. We might be against some kind of control deck. Usually they're the only ones who bother worrying about Mistrized Village. Sleight of Hand indicates more of a prowess build. Demir? Okay. This bill has a lot of tap lands. It's possible we should be chaining that up. Okay, I don't care about that. They're just 1 for 1ing me with a 3 mana card. No problem. Okay, we're gonna crack this Fabled Passage for a swamp on their turn. Again, they're 1 for 1ing. Don't care. I wish it wasn't 1 exiled, because we do have a Rise of the Dark Realms in our deck. Fun of 1 of. But that's okay. Alright, we still have Fabled Passage in the graveyard. Our opponent is definitely not on a meta build. We could go Ice Till here, but I want to do the fun thing and go Free Strider and get my trigger with Jagged Barrens. Yay, that was fun. We ramped. Oh, a 1 for 1 removal spell? What a surprise. So my question is what their win con is going to be here. It doesn't look like it's the old Doomsday Excruciator mill deck. It could just be Singularity Rupture. Let's get our landfall triggers. We'll get green here, I guess. Draw a card. Perfect. That will get another card, put another land into play. Let's get us another set of pings. You can see why it's nice to have a deck like this where we have a fair amount of reach. There's going to be the Singularity Rupture soon. Not yet. They have a lot of card draw. I'm not really sure why this deck is running Sleight of Hand. It just gets 1 card for 1 card. Yeah, Aetherize, I don't care. We're not planning on attacking you, really. Alright. Ice Till time. Should we be including creature decks in here? Creature lands, rather. It's possible. Alright, folks. Rise of Dark Realms, that's cool. We could be playing into a sweeper. I kind of don't care. Okay, there we go. That's some good stuff. So Sorceress Schemes can flash back to grab Rise of the Dark Realms out of our graveyard. I don't know if we quite have enough mana to cast it. I suspect not. Do we want more cards in our graveyard? Probably not against a mill deck. We'll let him mill. It'll be a lot. Okay. 5, 10, 11. This would be cost 4, but give back 1. So cost 5, but give back 1. So cost of 4. And then Rise of the Dark Realms is, I believe, 8. 9. Yeah, we can't do that. We're still going to cast it while they don't have a counterspell up. Let's get our next Tanic trigger as well. Howdy, folks. Sorry there's no AlbinoCheesemonkey here today. He had a family emergency come up, so he'll be back next week with our usual Jank-Off. We're just doing some behind the scenes, and it looks like our opponent found River Churn, which means they win. The exhaustibility on that, I'll show you guys real quick. Any number of target players each mill cards equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. They put half our graveyard into our deck. So with this many cards in the graveyard, that's more than we have in our deck, 14 to 26. So they just mill our whole deck by activating it, and they have the mana too. Well, that was a closer one. Notably, main deck early removal would not have helped us there at all. Can always include Duresses for this deck. I'm not really sure that Duress is really a good card in the current meta. Alright, this is, I suppose, keepable. We're going to actually lead on... now we have 2 crime lands. Let's lead on the Barrens. Turn 1 Barrens, turn 2 Starting Town, Sabotender. Turn 3, another Sabotender, and do a tap land probably. No, turn 3, actually, we got a Starting Town, so... okay, looks like they have Burn. That can target a creature, so maybe Torch the Tower? Obliterating Bolt? Maybe a Pump Spell? Whatever it was, they decided not to cast it. Oh, folks, we're in the weeds now. We're playing against Armored Kincaller Dinos. Alright, these are all, like, commons. Starter level cards. That's okay. Alright, next turn, we're going to go Free Strider Lookout into Festering Gulch, which will get us a crime and additional landfall if everything survives. Red removal might have a hard time against Tannock. A lot of common removal spells are 2 or 3 damage. I don't care about the 3 damage so much. We could technically block with Tannock, but any pump spell kills Tannock, and we kind of want him in play. So we will just risk no blocks. Let's see if they do have that pump spell. Be kind of weird if they did. In a dinosaur deck, but dinosaurs aren't meta. I don't know what they're doing. They're all basic scroll. Alright, they had the removal anyway. That is okay. We won't get the draw off Tannock, but we can still go Free Strider Lookout into Crime Land. Getting another Crime Land. And we can attack. I will not be blocking with this Lookout. Welcome, Fem600. What have you been streaming recently? We've got Magic the Gathering Arena. Sorry, Femi, not looking for ads on Discord right now. But thanks for reaching out. Not really sure what this guy's on about. Okay, let's see. For sorcery. Kind of expensive creature removal. Notably, all cards so far have been from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Let's try and attack. We may want to save our Fabled Passage for when we have additional value from it. I think this turn is just going to be Sabotender into basic land to get 2 more pings. Alright, that's fine. Rather have them cast it as a removal than cast it as an actual creature, but they may be stuck on lands. So, almost certainly a newer player. They're definitely kind of slow on their timings. That's what you can happen in unranked. You can basically queue up against anybody. There is some deck waiting for the matchups in an unranked queue, but it doesn't really wait based on time played. Yep, another Lost Caverns of Ixalan card. Maybe they just bought a ton of packs and opened them. Didn't want to craft anything. If you attack with the Kincaller again, I'm not blocking. I want this Lookout. Alright, we do need to draw action, though. The 27 lands of the deck is showing currently. Well, that's action. Good stuff. I want you to tap only one starting town. Thank you, Arena. Farquaad asks, is 2/1 not target damage to target opponent? It is actually to each opponent. I suspect they designed this way to be more friendly for Commander, where you have multiple opponents, but it's not quite Iridescent Vine Lasher in that regard. And welcome, Farquaad Gaming. Yes, thank you for the question. It's a good one. My earlier build of this in an earlier episode of the Jank-Off series. Links on YouTube. Use just Free Strider Lookout and Iridescent Vine Lasher. We'd had Sabotender and Tannock come out since then. Alright, so it's possible we attack here against the Burning Sun Cavalry. I think we just have them at low enough life total that... Are they forced to block the Free Strider because we can crack Fabled Passage at instant speed? I think so. Unless they have something. Okay, they go for the trade. Are you looking at my lookout? Oh, it doesn't trade. I should read the card. Farquaad, nice. Yeah, we're doing a pretty janky build. The idea is to have a combo finish with this deck. We've got a one of Rise of the Dark Realms in here and some Beans Tutor for it. But probably not going to happen. I think our opponent has... Yep, Elected Death, unless they have something. Alright, good stuff. It was against basically a dinosaur starter deck, so we shouldn't be resting on our laurels too much. But feeling good about any wins right now. This very janky deck. We'll go do a quick show the whole thing. So what are we looking at so far? This is actually a good time to after we've been through 5-ish games. What is working, what isn't? The core of the deck seems to be here. I suspected early on that 4 copies of Spelunking is too many. I'm leaning toward that being a correct suspicion. The deck's win rate would probably be improved with some targeted removal, taking advantage of our black cards. Lumra has been really good every time we've played her. Having these big mana cards hasn't cost us much. I think we're just going to try Spelunking and then sprinkling in a little removal. We'll go down to 1 maybe. Land count has seemed fine, question mark. I'm kind of realizing we may want more swamps, as our only turn 1 play currently is Vine Lasher, and we're also going to be adding removal. Probably a Shoot the Sheriff and an Abrade. Ooh, Scavenger Talent and Head Shredder. I like the Talent and Head Shredder build. Have not thought of that one before. Yeah, that would go crazy. I feel like including an Abrade. Do we, for our last slot, include a Duress? It's possible we could even include a Sweeper. We do ramp up pretty quickly. Probably just another Shoot. Look at Scavenger's Talent real quick. Creatures you control die. Okay, it's sacrifice a permanent, target player, mills 2 cards is the main thing you're working with there. Oh, that's some real jank. Love it. AlbinoCheesemonkey, if you watch this stream later, this sounds like a deck up your alley. I know you have those head shredders crafted. Alright. We don't have the sacrifice strategies built into this particular deck, so we'll keep going with it. I'm not sure if Head Shredder, it's a fun inclusion. I suspect we also don't have enough mill synergies here. Basically, it's just Ice Till. Yeah, exactly. Shredder and Ice Till are both cool, but also both 4 converted mana cost. So, gonna have to pick our top end there. This is a slow hand, but we're on the play. This Rise of the Dark Realms is basically a blank card until later in the game, but we do have a pretty rampy hand. We have Fabled Passage plus double Ice Till, even if one gets removed, so I think we keep. This is not going to be winning any standard tournaments. This is not a meta deck. But I would like to cast Rise of the Dark Realms. Cast in 1 test game so far. That was very fun. I think our best matchup is honestly control-ish decks, as long as they're not on the mill plan. To be fair, a lot of control decks are on the mill plan right now as a win con, but Azorius, this might be Azorius. Azorius is usually on Creature Beatdown as their actual win con with Overlord of the Mistmoors, Beza, and or Horned Lockwhale, maybe an Elspeth. Alright, too soon to say exactly what we're facing here. The Meticulous Archive usually makes me think Azorius control, because they usually don't have turn 1 plays. It could be artifacts, though. It's artifacts. Control would not be playing Cryogen Relic. This game's got a lot harder for us then. We're kind of 2 combo decks against each other. We're on the play, definitely an advantage. Right, so if we could run out Vine Lasher, and Offspring it, they would both get answered by Pinnacle Starcage, which our opponent kind of wants to cast because Cryogen Relic's out. If we run out Tanic, it could be... their single target removal is a little more premium. Perilous Snare. I think we want to run this out. It gets us more value than Offspring and Vine Lasher for now. Alright, this seems good. I think we actually go Spelunking, see if we can draw a second land. If that does, we can double trigger Tanic. We could not. But we can still attack. And we have enough action in hand. I'm just going to play out Vine Lasher without Offspring. There's an infinite-ish combo in the deck that makes it possible to mill opponent or the Vine Lasher land. Yep. Scavenger's Talent has that mill option too. Alright. United Battlefront hits. They did find Synth. Not another 3 mana value card, though. Yeah, Icky. It's really good in best of 1. And we're not playing a control deck. I like the strategy back before it got popular, I'll be honest. But it's too much of a tiered deck these days. Alright. Let's do some Ice Till things. We're going to put out a good chunk of damage, and we do have reach. We don't need to attack the opponent to win. This is a good thing about having all these ping effects. I think we just get our other mountain. Okay. Our opponent's going to have our... If they don't kill us, which they might be able to with Fire Crystal. If they don't kill us, they're going to have a rough next turn. Alright. Do you have a Sweeper? Sweeper or Fetch Fire Crystal would both be bad, but they need another Synthesizer to also fetch Fire Crystal. Make that worth it. Even a Sweeper, we're kind of getting close to Rise of the Dark Realms. Iceful Explorer will ramp us a fair bit more. I don't care about Split Up. This will probably answer Tanic here. We have 6 lands. We'll get up to 8. Now the question is, do we play Lumra with only 1 in graveyard? I don't think so. I think we go Ice Till still. We can go Ice Till plus Sabotender. Here's our first land drop. We might have lethal. If we use this Dragon Barons. I think we have lethal. Because here's another 2 damage. Oh yeah, we have more than lethal. Okay, yeah, let's just attack. Okay, so we found maybe a good matchup. Because we kind of don't care about their blockers. We don't need to attack. Oh my goodness, is my untap not on? Why is that not on mine? Sorry, folks. Deck companion is not online right now, it looks like. Alright. Usually I'll use that to look at my deck in-game, but that's alright. Not going to fight with the interface right now. Alright, so we got some victories. Notably, the removal we, again, brought in would not have helped us in this matchup, but that's alright. It's possible we should start thinking about moving to best of 3. I'm going to give it another best of 1. We haven't really faced... We've faced only one control deck, and that's a Dimir Mill deck. I kind of want to face Azorius Control and see what our matchup is like there, because that's another fairly popular one, even in best of 1. Also haven't faced Life Gain. I think we just lose there. But, yeah, I think Life Gain's a really hard one. So for that, we'd want to sideboard Sweepers. Alright, Mana's going to be tough with this. I think turn 1's going to be... It is a keep, because we have enough early plays. Turn 1, Fabled Passage, fetch Mountain. That gives us a turn 2 Abrade. If we want it, and if we don't want it, we can play a Fabled Passage on 2 as well. Eroded Canyon is our opponent brewing. Okay, Backwoods lets us stay on the possible Abrade plan. If this is VV Cauldron, I scoop. This is not a VV Cauldron. Cam and Ferric Havoc duo. Human Goblin Villain. Whenever you discard a card, gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Okay. So our opponent's definitely planning on discarding cards. Do we just Abrade this now? I'm kind of going to wait until wait and see what they play. This is definitely a rogue deck. It could just be built around the VV shell with budget choices, like a Cam here. Yeah, that's kind of what it's looking like. Okay, this is a temporary pump. Mako is a permanent one. I'm just going to cast our Abrade on Mako. They may have Counterspell here. They don't. Okay. We don't have any good plays this turn, unfortunately, because we chose to make this our Abrade turn. We have a lot of tap lands. But we can fetch Swamp, and then next turn play Tannock into fetch land, grab another Swamp, get 2 Tannock triggers, and play Vine Lasher after that, which is a pretty good set of plays. Sorceress Schemes we don't really like to see in our hand. We kind of want that to be milled. Okay, another discard enabler, a budget discard enabler. This is definitely a budget is it discard deck, so not VV. Possible they spent wild cards on VV though, and Cauldron. Okay. So yep, sticking to the plan. We Tannock. Fabled Passage. Fetch Swamp, get our second trigger, play out Vine Lasher. Good stuff. Our draw is a Barrens. We don't mind drawing a ton of lands when we have Explorer in hand to give us additional land drops. And Tannock is not trivial for Izzet to remove. We'll see if our opponent's build is even playing much removal. Another Mako. This is definitely a less competitive deck, but they do have Broadside Barrage. We have an additional Tannock. I suspect this next turn we actually want to go Explorer, though. Just get those land drops flowing. That sets up double land drops for Tannock the turn after. Do we trade against the Grease Wrench? So this discards 2 cards. I think we actually trade here. We're kind of not close to winning via incremental damage, and if they exhaust this, both our other creatures get quite a bit bigger. So I think we just save the 2 damage now and then prevent these from also being a bigger problem later. Do we play our passages here? I guess so. We can play our passages and get out the Sabotender. Okay, and our opponent does kind of need something big now. Can they deal with our Explorer is the main thing. I'm considering, even if they attack all, not blocking with the Explorer, even though we theoretically have a free block on the Mako. Okay, Howler. Might be discarding more cards. Big pumps. Okay. How much milling do we want? More. More milling. Do we still have that forest in the deck? I think so. Before you mill anymore, come on, I'm in full control, please. Alright. Let's get our last forest so we can play Tannic this round. Did we mill a Rise? Not yet. Not yet, Farquaad. We just have the 1 in deck, so not particularly likely. But we milled a Sorceress Schemes. Okay, and then do we still have double land drops? I think we might. We kind of actively want to mill Rise of the Dark Realms at this point, so here we go. We do not have good attacks, though. Yep, so here's the plan. We just mill until we hit Rise of the Dark Realms, then flashback Sorceress Schemes and get it into our hand. Okay, this is removal for Sabotender. It also makes the rest of their creatures kind of painful to block. They might just pump the Flyer. Fortunately, Sabotender is our only reach blocker. Do we go for trades if they attack with the Howler? Possibly. I don't think they were dead there. They didn't know our hand is basically empty. I think it's not too long before we mill a Rise of the Dark Realms. How many cards are left in deck here? Sorry, folks, I have it hidden on my screen. It's kind of hard to see in here. There's also 28 cards in deck. We could easily mill 6+ cards next round. Yeah. We have a decent chance of it, but... Alright. Let's start checking for best of 3. Alrighty, ready. So that's a fun little package. I think for sideboard cards, we're particularly looking at other cards that are good with Sorceress Schemes. So, for instance, and sorceries. Now the question is, do we want another land? I don't think so. Do we want another Shoot the Sheriff and make a Braid a sideboard card? Maybe. We never really ran out of fetchables at a time when it mattered. So let's possibly go down to 2 swamps. Bring in a Shoot the Sheriff. We do draw a lot of lands and not so much gas. So it's possible going down to 26 is fine here. 26 is still a lot. All right. Sorry, folks. I have to check to change the deck view to work on the sideboard. Braid. So Braid is definitely a sideboardable card. I think we go up to just far Shoot the Sheriff. We don't have a lot of turn 2 plays. That should be fine. All right. For our Graveyard Hate, there's definitely a case for Ghost Vacuum. It's kind of nice because we can exile cards from our own graveyard and bring them into play, like a Limmer or something. That's pretty good. Yeah, we'll have Ghost Vacuum the our Graveyard Hate. The other Main contender for a black deck is, in my opinion, Leyland of the Void. Which? Question mark. All right. Pillage the Bog. It's a nice tutor. I think I like our Sorceress' Schemes package more because Scheme isn't a tutor from the deck, but it also does something when it's milled, and we do mill a reasonable amount. Pillage the Bog you need to have in hand. It's not very useful early. So I think we don't want that. Malicious Eclipse kills too many of our creatures. Carnage. Sacrifice any number of permanents you control and draw that many cards. Strategic Betrayal. Good call, Farquaad. I like that. That's possible we should be running one main deck. I'm going to go down there. Shoot. The Sheriff. Okay. Pitiless Carnage. I don't think we're quite comboing in that way. World Soul's Rage. Possibly we should actually have this main deck. I kind of want that as an alternate Sorceress' Schemes target. It seems like a fun card. I don't know if it's like an optimal card to include here, but I want to put one World Souls main deck. World Souls Rage. Farquaad says cease. Cease and desist, possibly, since you could schemes them. True. We also don't care about artifacts and enchantments being destroyed because we don't run any. Let's look at the pips on that. Yeah, we have enough green and black definitely to cast that. I'll run one. It'll be really good in the matchups where it's good. That's probably actually a better card for us than a Braid against artifact decks. No, 1-1. Let's do 1-1. Duress. We don't really care that much about counter spells, to be honest. I think we just stay with 1 Duress. Overlord of the Baelmerk is something I had for as a deck building option. Most of our combo cards are creatures. We actively want more ways to put non-creatures in the graveyard. I'm not seeing it really fitting very easily. I kind of like so much of what else that we have going on. Fleece Rider Lookout has not really been pulling his weight, unfortunately. We probably want to run higher removal count for that. More crimes. That's kind of what I did in the previous version of this deck. But currently we have the Iridescent Vine Lasher, World Source Rage, we shoot the Sheriff, and I believe that is it. It's possible this just isn't the deck for them anymore, in which case we could look at replacing some of these ping lands. But I kind of like the just everything pings theme, so we'll keep it for now. That's a good direction to keep in mind. Do we want to also change our 1 Spelunking? I don't think so. I think 1 Spelunking is a pretty powerful effect in this deck. Overlord, I'm not really seeing a spot for. I think we dispose of that. Let's do another cover-up. I'm not sure what decks... Hang on. I'm not sure what decks really... Well, I guess we do have some ramp. We do have a fair amount of ramp. Let's try 2 cover-up. And I'd like a Maelstrom Pulse. And Necropsy. Maelstrom Pulse deals with a non-permanent and all other permanents with the same name as it. So this is good. Flexible removal that can also be a board wipe sometimes at 3 mana. And Necropsy, similar kind of thing. Destroys an artifact, creature, enchantment, and planeswalker as long as you can collect evidence equal to their mana value. So it does depend on us being able to mill. Mostly that's going to be Ice Explorer and Limra doing that job. But I think worth 1 sideboard slot. All right. Let's get these grouped up. Aftermath Analyst. That's another kind of deck building card. That's if we want to go heavier on a mill plan. I'm not sure if we're really that high on it. It's nice that it fuels Limra and is additional kind of Limra-ish effect. But it We do have more early plays now. It's not a good enough blocker these days. Let's cut it for a second to rest, maybe. We're in intimidation tactics. Kind of creature decks are more of a threat to us than control decks, I suspect. So we'll try just one of each for now. And we can adjust those ratios later. Right. All right, let's start. Let's just jump into the play queue for our first best of 3 or 2. Standard play, Gen Landfall. Also, folks, I need help on a spicy deck name for this. My kind of uncreative name for the earlier Golgari rendition was Raise the Lands. Because we were reanimating a ton of lands. We went for Lumra and, I believe, for Aftermath Analyst. Well, yeah, this is too slow. It's nice to have removal, but if the removal is dead, we have nothing until turn 6. Let's get some more engine pieces. Well, we have engine pieces, but we definitely don't want both sources, schemes in hands, and only 1 land. So unfortunately, we are down to 5. Okay. Keep our early plays and our lands. This is a hand we can play. Let's go. If they look like a deck that we need to shoot on turn 1, they look like a deck that we need to shoot on turn... Sorry, not turn 1, but turn 2. We'll commit to playing shoot this turn, and Tanic will have to wait until turn 4, perhaps. Okay, was not expecting that. Awful Llanowar Elves deck, but sure. I don't think we shoot the Llanowar Elves. Okay. They may be able to alt Tezzeret. I don't think we have any main deck removal for Tezzeret. So, this will be spooky. Let's just get down to creature. Seeing Forest Llanowar Elves, I'm like, okay, what's the worst going to happen? Mossborn Hydra turn 2. So that's why I kept up shoot. But we played Planeswalker. Okay, Gear Hulk. That makes sense for Celestia. This will grab them 2 artifacts, creatures, or enchantment cards. Probably artifacts to alt that Tezzy. Gear Hulk. Notably not a cop. They also have that Basilisk Collar in hand, which will make the Gear Hulk pretty spooky. Alright, well, the Tezzeret can alt next turn, unfortunately. And Gear Hulk's going to get very, like I said, spooky, so... we'll put a damage on it. It's still going to alt. Our clock's not fast enough. This Tanic needed to come down earlier, but our opponent had a pretty explosive start. Markwad's wondering if there's Ugin involved. Could be. You do have to ramp a fair amount for Ugin. Whereas this deck definitely wants a low curve, being a Gear Hulk and Tezzeret deck. Alright, Phoenix down can reanimate a Gear Hulk next turn, which we're going to be spooky. I think we just lost. Do they stay permanently animated? Yep, they do. Yep, we don't have the gas. Let's not show them any more of our deck. I think we get what they're doing. Alright. So against a deck that's running creatures and artifacts and planeswalkers, let's do Maelstrom, Pulse, and Necropsy definitely. Let's bring in our artifact removal. We did see Phoenix down as a Gear Hulk reanimator. I don't think we bring in the Soul Guide Lantern as well. That's a little too narrow. Strategic Betrayal is fairly likely to just hit a Mana Dork when we need to target a Gear Hulk. So I don't think we main deck it. Cards we can cut. What are we looking at? So the Rise of the Dark Realms plan seems a little far-fetched again in this matchup. I think we just grind them out. They probably don't have a ton of life gain, aside from like Basilisk Caller. So let's take out our top end. Lumra is still actually plenty of top end. And just have a bit more interaction. Can also take out the Courage. This is for if we Rise of the Dark Realms. But it's going to be kind of hard to attack. Spelunking's still fine. We can keep in our Free Strider lookouts and bring in some more crimes. I like hits artifacts and creatures. Seems fine. Let's just do a little spread there. Right, this should be good. Good is comparative. They're still not playing a meta deck. We'll see. Farquad says, with Ice Till and Plentiful Lands, Triumph is possibly a better kill spell. I did think about that, and it's possible you're right, being able to hit Planeswalkers. I think that's a good enough point that we'll try testing out one main deck. At worst, we can always lose 3 life. We can't really gain life in this deck, so the life loss is a little scary, but we often will have a land to pitch and then bring back with Ice Till. That's true. We'll try one copy main deck for sure. Okay, they have the Mana Dork start. Are we shooting a Mana Dork? I don't think so. I think we just want to get our damage on board. If they don't do anything too scary, we can even Free Strider Lookout, and then have a Bristling Backwoods ready to crime for it and ramp us. Dire Drain. I'm not too scared of that, but they're probably going to play a 1-drop now. They don't. Okay. We can't attack. We'll just play our Free Strider. Their deck is probably not too heavy on interaction. They may Sheltered by Ghost on Diadrine, which I would not like. Is this Gear Hulk? Bright Glass Gear Hulk? I hope so. We don't like that. Well, I've been gotten that way by AlbinoCheesemonkey plenty of times. I still think we just try to ramp and draw another land. If we can get down this Lumra, we start looking a lot better. And this actually lets us keep up our Shoot the Sheriff. I don't think they have many sheriffs. Many outlaws, rather, in their deck. Okay, that's a good Shoot the Sheriff target. We're going to kill this on the stack just to play around them fetching Shard Mage's Rescue, which is an enchantment, a 1-mana value enchantment. It's unlikely that they would, but they're not going to play anything else that we're going to want to shoot. All right, if we draw land next turn, we have Lumra. If we don't, we still have a good turn with Ice Till double ramping us. Okay, they still get Phoenix down to reanimate the Gear Hulk, which I think they can do now. They could have done if they didn't play the Basilisk Caller. No, they couldn't. This is not a mana source. Sorry. Okay, I do not mind being attacked for 2. Okay, so this was not a land. So we have to Ice Till to access our Fabled Passage. Fabled Passage to get us, I don't think it matters at this point, I guess Forest. And then we're going to play our Sabotender, and I don't think we need a ton of additional landfall triggers. We should have gone for the Fabled Passage with Lumra in hand. We want as many mills from the Ice Till Explorer as possible. Okay, Phoenix down is going to bring back Gear Hulk, tapped. And they're probably going to equip Basilisk Caller. They might wait to do that next round and find other things to play instead. So the Phoenix down and Gear Hulk lines are pretty fun. Looks like they're going to go double removal. This will require them to sacrifice an artifact or creature each time. They probably sacrifice their Mana Dorks here. If they play both, They may not play both. We'll see. Kind of don't care too much about that. Okay, can't block here. Physic is going to be a little bit scary, to be honest. All right. If we play out Limra, they're going to Duskrell's Reliquary it, but now that we have a second one, I feel a little bit better about that outcome. This is still going to be a pile of damage. Kind of wanted to mill more lands there. I believe we still have 2 mountains left in the deck, so this should be enough to trigger both these Fabled Passages and bring them back next round with the next Limra. Our opponent is now empty-handed, notably. Yep. We will not be blocking with Sabotender. Oh, lifelink. Right. Alright, now we're in trouble. I don't think we die if we don't block. And this little Sabotender is kind of our only hope. It's going to be a lot of damage. Okay, let's crack these, get our mountains. This does thin the deck for the next Limra, but this puts the Fabled Passages in the graveyard for their landfalls. So what we really want to draw here is, I think, Vine Lasher. Iridescent Vine Lasher might actually win. I guess we get to find out. Let's mill some lands. Oh, okay, yeah, I think we win. Folks, I think we did it. Like I said, Lumber is a fine combo to top end. This is plenty. GG. Alright, well, we still have to win game 3. Alright. Do we want a Sorceress's Schemes to get back Cease Desist, now that we're seeing just how artifact heavy our opponent is? And the answer is possibly yes. Duress is looking less attractive. Nice indeed. Seems like most of their important pieces are creatures. I think it was just the Tezzeret. Yeah, this was fine. I mean, it was lucky. It was lucky to call out our top deck and then actually get it. So clip that, I guess, if you're on Twitch. It's possible there were other draws that would have won with lucky enough Lumra mills, like maybe Tanic into something else, or just milling enough deserts, the ping lands. Didn't exactly count it out. Okay, we do need to draw a third land, but we have 26 lands in the deck. This has turn 2 removal and turn 3 one of our ramp pieces, so we keep it. I don't think we run Vine Lasher turn 1. We're kind of hoping they don't have too aggressive of a start, slow down their critical pieces, and then win in the mid to late game. I kind of played more like an aggro deck last time. Physic is a fine target for Shoot the Sheriff, I think. But we do need this third land. All right, we're going to shoot Physic before the Tough Cookie comes down. Let's see if they brought in a protection spell. Not a green one, at least. I think the only protection spell they would run is the white. Not Sheltered by Ghosts. Shard Mage's Rescue. Alright, we're just playing double Vine Lasher because we did not draw that third land. I told my deck, I told the shuffler, we needed it, and we're not going to get it. Okay, they got their big scary card. I think I'm still okay with having played Shoot the Sheriff on Physic. We needed to spend our mana given that we're so choked on lands right now. It doesn't mean they resolve the Gear Hulk. They're probably going to get Phoenix down. Yep, they get Phoenix down, Basilisk Collar. That seems like they have a kind of just preferred order to get these, because now even if we remove the Hulk, they can Phoenix down it back and attach the Collar. I think we scoop here, folks. They're going to have a first striking, trampling, life leaking Gear Hulk, and we have nothing to do with it, and our third land comes in tap. So we will rejoice in the awesome game 2 end that we had, and just say, you know, they had a really good start, and we got screwed on lands. I'm not going to feel too bad about losing that third game. All right, so a change that Farquaad Gaming 3085 suggested, which I like, pointing out the synergy between Ice Till and pitching lands from hand, is the Bitter Triumph. Let's definitely get one of those main board. I'm going to go down to 1 shoot. I think I'm going to take Strategic Betrayal out of the main deck, actually. If we want to try out the card, we'll include 2. See if we can actually find it. Betrayal. I'm not too impressed with the rest so far. Oh, it is a crime. Okay, this is 3 shoots, 3 Strategic Betrayal. 2 Bitter Triumph. Do we want all these Ghost Vacuums when we also have Strategic Betrayals? Possibly not. Okay. Anything else we would want to cut? Maybe Deadly Cover Up? Nah. There were games when World Souls Rage would have been good if we drew it, so I'm leaving that in the main deck for now. Alright, let's go one more. Not going to be able to go as late tonight as the usual Jank-Off time, I don't think. Maybe we'll do one more game, one more best of 3 with this. See about how these Bitter Triumphs work. Then maybe wind down with 5-color control game at the end, which is what I've been playing on the ranked ladder when I have not been feeling like playing Arena much lately, unfortunately. I've just been playing basically for the Jank-Off. Hopefully, bans are... the scheduled ban window is coming next week. Wizards has kind of signaled or implied that Vivi and or Agatha's Souled Cauldron will be seeing a ban. Not confirmed, just implied or suggested. I'm very hopeful. I saw that spoilers for the Spotlight in, was it Liverpool this weekend? So mute me if you are still watching through that or something. I think the top 8 was 7 VV decks. Just heinous. Of course, VV won the tournament. Often lately, VV has been getting knocked out of that number 1 finish by a mono-red aggro deck. On any Wister, draw a card, harmonize. Okay, well, we're just going double Sabotender into Enduring Courage and just hoping for a beatdown against whatever this deck is doing. I'm not sure what they're doing. Okay, mono blue, draw cards. Alright, we'll just get our tap land down. We'll be unhappy about wasting this if Free Strider Lookout comes down, but I think the upside of having a Fabled Passage ready is higher than the upside of Free Strider. We are blocking the Mischievous Mystic. If they let us trade here, they might not notice that we have reach. Okay. Now we have an interesting decision because we can get the trigger off Tanic if they don't have a bounce spell. Are we trading a Sabotender versus the Fairy? I don't think so. I think we just win with direct damage here. Ryan Vibes 1 asks, hey man, my stream looks cool. To make it better, why don't I add some cool stuff to it? Well, it's just time, and I don't want to pay anyone to do it, if that's what you happen to be suggesting. I'm just a hobbyist streamer. not making any money off any of this, so I'm happy enough. I've got my phone plugged in as a camera. I've got a little window showing chat and music that's playing, and that's good enough for me for now, though I'm open to suggestions if there's particular stuff you'd like to see, definitely. Okay. Neat little synergy there with Talion's Messenger plus a fairy. Triggering the Mischievous Mystic, which makes another fairy. So good deck building, opponent. Good deck building. We're not trading against your fairy. I think you're getting pretty low on life and may, in fact, be basically dead here next turn. And I don't think you have a way to deal with all these pingers. Turns out Savatander are pretty good when you get 4 of them on the board. They have 3 blockers. We have 3 attackers. We don't even need to attack. They're good. I don't think they're going to have means to draw to gain life in mono blue. Yeah, you can make your fairies, but my next play is a land, and it's uncounterable. Ryan, I don't have a Discord. Not really interesting in connecting with sellers of assets. Not really something I'm looking to do. Thank you for offering, though. You're welcome to follow me on Twitch or YouTube, though. Kind of don't care what the opponent's doing here. We know we have the win in hand. So we'll let them have the satisfaction of hitting, and then they will be dead. They good game, we can good game back. Alright, well, we got a little lucky there with our draw lining up pretty well. Having a reach blocker. This may be a matchup where we actually want the deadly cover-ups, to be honest. Our opponent seems like they do want to go fairly wide. Let's see what else we have. Draw a second card each turn. Yep. This does not seem like a good card. They must be running a fairly budget build. Okay. Cover-ups in... the Mystics are definitely a good target for removal. This is where I'm almost wondering if I would have wanted that Malicious Eclipse. I think I had it as a potential card for like the anti-Dimir matchup. It would also be good here. It just kills so many of our creatures that I wasn't sure. I guess I won't run it probably. Our opponent doesn't have big stuff to take out, so I'm not too thrilled about World Soul's Rage. Are we going to go for the combo against them? They didn't see any counter spells, but they probably will run them, or at least be able to sideboard them. The game could go late, so I think we keep some of our top end just for fun. We didn't see any Planeswalkers, but they could be running the blue Kaito. I think we take out the courage here for... Oh, shoot the sheriff. Usually, I might like Maelstrom Pulse here. They made some token swarms. All right, this is basically the same plan, just a little bit tweaking here. So, our opponent's running a fun little deck. We like it. A budget, draw a second card, synergy deck. All right, here our plan is going to be turn 1, tap land, turn 2, Vine Lasher, tap land, turn 3, Tannic. One thing I have been pleased about is even with all these crime lands are slow, but we have not been color screwed. It is nice to have all these dual lands that also synergize with our deck and mana base. Let's see if they brought in counters. I do not care if they counter this. Good stuff. If we had off-sprung it and then it got countered, I would be a little less happy about that. But like, we want them to be spending their counters and tempo now. This means we can either resolve the Vine Lasher or Tannic. I think Tannic we're a little happier about getting countered because we have a second one. This might be a good turn to offspring the Vine Lasher. They won't have... Even if they have a bounce spell, they can only bounce the token. They can't bounce both. So next turn, unless we draw a Fabled Passage or a 4-drop, it'll be Tanic, Bristling Backwards. Okay. They have the Mischievous Mystic draw. So that's going to start getting in. Okay. It seems likely that they're holding up a counterspell. I'm still going to play Tanic into it because we have the second one. No, no counter. All right. Take 4. We're definitely winning the damage race. We want to either draw a 6-land or Icetail Explorer, I think, would be our best draw. Fabled Passage wouldn't be bad either. Archmage of Runes. We like that. Good blocker, but that's okay. We don't have to attack to win. Third Lumber is not what we want. Not at all. It's just land pass. Hope we draw an untapped one for the next turn. They're going to have a good next turn with their Archmage making all their other spells cheaper and drawing them cards. So we need to not miss. This is going to hurt. So currently their Prophets is placing 2 counters on the Mystic and making a Fairy. And if they drew any instants and sorceries that draw additional cards, they can cast those more cheaply with the Archmage. Bingo. So that's 5 counters for Prophets. 7 plus the 1 from that other card is 8. Our opponent might be hitting us for 12 this turn. If they attack with the Archmage as well, we have to chump it. There's the 12. Yep. Yeah, we do have to chump. Oh, we don't have to chump. We can block with Tanic and they'll bounce off, which we will do. We can't kill that. Okay, untapped land for Lumra might win. That is a tap land. Alas, we are running a lot of tap lands. So no, this will not, I believe, be enough damage. This will be 4. Okay, and we concede. We could let the opponent attack in, but it seems like we have mana up, and we don't want to make them think that we still might have something. Okay, what are we thinking about the plan? I think we want to bring in more removal. Let's cut this top end. The matchup seems a little faster that time than I was initially anticipating. Deadly Cover-Up still actually probably fine. This can fetch instant source. Okay, we kind of only want that for grabbing finishers rather than just interaction. I think if we just want more interaction, we just run more interaction. All right, good stuff. You play first. This hand looks a little sussy. It's going to be hard to get all our colors. And we do usually want to see a third land. This looks a lot better. 3 starting towns is a laugh. For the memes. So let's just play our hand on curve. All right. If we cast the Bitter Triumph here, I don't think they have any targets that we care about casting it on, to be honest. Cancel that. I think we actually do want to kill a Drake-Catcher. We will be taking the 3. Okay, another shoot. I think we get down our Free Strider Lookout, and then if they play Mischievous Mystic, next turn we can shoot that. Which is a crime, which ramps us, which is a landfall trigger. It's close to this Lumra. Let's see if we have the Mystic. Astrologian's Planisphere. Bounce spell? Okay, since they committed an aura to that, I am definitely more inclined to just shoot it and make this a tempo game. This also gets us a ping. Unfortunately, Free Strider Lookout triggers only once each turn. I don't like that they keep the Planisphere, but we have good pressure. Reasonable pressure. Free Strider Lookout also a pretty good blocker against their deck. Tap Enchanted Creature. Activated abilities can't be activated, but its triggered abilities can. So we're kind of okay with this. Since we don't have any crimes in hand, I think we go Tanic as our highest upside play. Any landfall is a good... Any land is a good draw. Fabled Passage especially good. Fabled Passage actually gets us to Limmer the turn after. Ice Till, do we have a... No, we don't. I think we're okay with trading the Mystic for the Vine Lasher at this point. They are as well. Okay. This will be our highest upside play. Let's hope to draw a land. 26 lands, Shoveler. You can give us one. We know you have plenty. Mystic's a 2-drop? I thought it was a 3-drop for whatever reason. Alright, we did draw a land. I think here we go Free Strider, because we have a crime in hand. This will double trigger. Which gets us... We want that for our Ice Till later. And now we want to ping land. Don't think it matters which. At the end of this, we'll see how much health they have. If it's 2, we win. GG. All right. So we are finding that our Jank deck can beat other Jank decks. This is good. Not so sure about meta decks. I think we'll have to find that out some other time, though. I'm pretty happy with kind of the synergies that we've looked at. There's still some tweaking that we'll have to do, but usually when we do the Jank-Off with AlbinoCheesemonkey, both of us playing against each other, we end with some bonus games, and I think I'd like to do that this time. Bitter Triumph was alright. It's possible I'll tweak that more into the sideboard. We will see. It's good with Ice Till. So we're going to find out. Alright. I'll work on this a bit more, but I think we're pretty close to what we're going to submit to the Jank-Off. Not next week, because I already have a deck set for that. It was going to be tonight, but the week after. Preview, it's right here. Mouse problem. Shiko as the cover card. This is the comfort food deck I've been playing. It's not a food deck, it's a control deck that I've been playing a lot. Let me know if any of these other options look appealing if we want to do a second bonus game. No, this is not a standard deck. But the rest, any of the ones with hearts are basically fair game. For now, we'll go with Cornucopia Control. Alright, it's not a meta deck. It is somewhat similar to the 4-color control deck. We're just doing 5-color control because we're crazy like that. And for the memes, this is one of the rare decks where you want to draw first. Here's all our colors. Good stuff. The name of the game is stall the opponent out with life gain, draw cards, sweep the board. Mill them out with our sweeper that is also a mill spell. The Singularity Rupture, which is one of my favorite cards from Edge of Eternities. Sorry for any aggro mages out there. We do have a Plains, so Quarry Mountain Monastery is entering untapped. We see Gobin. Fleem's dad. We can... Let's see, we usually run a little low on blue and black sources. We can also just play green here to make sure our cornucopia is painless next turn. I was going to play it off the starting town, but we have so many color options here that I'm not too worried about that getting screwed there. Going to hope they don't hold up counter magic. This might be Grixis Mayhem. Not a meta deck, but a jank archetype that came out with Through the Omen Paths 1, aka Spider-Man. Difficult decision for our opponent here. Right, we have Cecil, whatever you want to call him. They might have counter magic, that's fine. We don't need this to win. I'd rather them counter this than our explosion next round if they play another creature. Yep, totally fine. Right, opponent, are you going to do anything besides have an unblockable beater? Not yet. Okay, well we have... This is when he deals combat damage, not when he attacks. That's fine. Let's get down a red source. I guess this also makes it painless. But we're going to want the red next turn for the Mountain Monastery. So now we have Inevitable Defeat up, which cannot be countered. I don't like seeing our opponent having a Restless Reef. We don't have a lot of good main deck answers to... a creature land. Inevitable Defeat is our main single target removal, and it only targets non-lands. Cannot be countered. There are other ways to deal with this. You can bounce the spell back to hand. You can make the target hexproof. You can bounce the target back to hand, something like that. Alright. We're at a good life total. We have our card advantage set up. We have a two sweepers in hand. We don't mind seeing that at all. Question is how much counter magic our opponent is rocking. It looks like they may be keeping up more counters. If this is just a hold up counters and beat down with Gobin deck, that's funny. Alright, so we're definitely playing Helix this turn. If we play down Flood Farm Verge, that also lets us keep up Consult the star charts. If they counter this, I'm very tempted to cast Consult now. They don't counter it, so we're going to cast Consult on our opponent's end step. I don't particularly mind if this gets countered. This is kind of counter bait, and maybe we resolve a good spell on our own turn. I mean, this is a good spell as well. Let's take... Singularity Rupture is basically our win con. So we're definitely taking at least one. The question is, do we want another Consult? Probably. Our opponent does not seem to be going very fast. Okay, well, we have the second Rupture anyway. I don't think we cast it in open mana. We want our opponent to tap down a bit more. They may not fire up this Restless Reef. If they do, then we cast the Rupture. Each player discards a card, then you draw a card for each card type among cards discarded this way. Card. We don't need a land here. Okay, you draw two. We're going to resolve Singularity Rupture on you next turn, and you're not going to be happy about that. I can tell you that. We have the pips for it. Good stuff. Let's see what their deck is. Interaction. Yeah, definitely a discard sub-theme. They reanimate Valgavoth here, probably. It's okay, we have two sweepers. No, Kefka. Alright, you discard land again. Let's see if they have a second play. If they do... maybe we should have kept that land. Then we probably could have pushed through two sweepers. Alright, let's do this. If they have a counterspell... if they don't counter, they die. And if they do counter, we can still sweep the board. So it seems like a good play pattern to me. Normally what they'll have here is Dispelling Exhale. That's the only counterspell we saw so far. And that's not going to work. Good game. Yeah, we can pay here. All right. One thing I like about playing a mill deck, you get to see pretty well what the opponent is working with. Okay, so out Silk. If there are 14 or more cards in your graveyard, you may transform it. They also have Cavero. This seems like a basically Universes Beyond Legends Grixis pile with some discard synergies. All right, they're using the graveyard enough so that at least 2 copies of Rest in Peace is warranted. Authority of the Consuls, we're going down to 1 tops. They're not running any haste, not a ton of creatures either. Targeted removal, not too... Okay, they have Tersos. They have Tersos. Let me keep 2. We could bring in negates for counter wars. I think Make Disappears are just as good there. Anything we don't want. Interestingly, Inevitable Defeat can target Balgavoth despite his ward, although we do have plenty of non-targeting ways to also deal with him. This is not too good. Some of their targets are pretty high toughness. 2 Rest in Peace would be fine. Let's go down to 1. No more lies. All right. So we're running a pretty low count of counter spells. We actually have no counter spells main deck compared to the 4-color control variant. Part of that's just a personal gameplay preference. I think running 4 No More Lies is really probably the move. But I like so many of my other fun little cards. So I don't. We keep. We have our win cons in hand, actually. We're going to play this tapped on green. Let's Mistrise come in untapped, actually. Cecil, early aggro, we don't really care about. We're going to be turn 3, Ancient Cornucopia. I assume Split Up is not going to be good. Never mind. Our opponent is making Split Up good. They're going to have 2 tapped creatures this turn, which leads me to want to Split Up first, Cornucopia later. It's possible we should have brought in 4 Rest in Pieces, not just 2. If we lose this game, well, I guess it depends on how we lose it. I may do so. But this is a good time for a 2-for-1. We'll have to see it. Next turn is going to be Cornucopia. They may counter it. I'm fine with that. I wonder what they take here. That is probably the last card I would have taken. They must have a counter for this then. We can play around that. Because we have Mistrise Village in hand. Okay, Mistrise. We have to pay a life for this, and it slowed us down by a turn, but this is going to fix our colors really well. This makes Singularity Rupture castable next turn, theoretically. We may want to, again, wait another turn until we can make it uncounterable, because just Cecil is not a ton of pressure. Good game? Good game what? Oh, you're done playing? All right, folks. That concludes our first bonus game. If you have any particular decks you want to see right now, I'll bring up that screen real quick. I appreciate the opponent still giving a good game, even though they're in a basically unwinnable position against a control deck. Good sportsmanship there. I probably should have good games back. I didn't think to do that in time. Honestly, until recently, I've had emotes muted. They just had mostly been detrimental to the game as opposed to adding something to it for me. So, thankfully, that's mostly changed in recent times. But. All right. That was Cornucopia Control. I'll bring up the deck list real quick. We covered this maybe 5 episodes ago-ish. So, I'm Ben O'Brake on YouTube. Appreciate subscribe over there if you enjoyed the stream. And you can look at our MTG Sunday Jank-Off playlist to see how all of these Jank decks performed against other Jank decks, piloted by my good friend AlbinoCheesemonkey, who was unable to make it today due to a family emergency. He will be back next week. We stream every weekend, every Sunday at 6:59 Eastern, which is 23:59 UTC. We hope to see you all then next week. Hope you enjoyed me stepping up and just doing a solo stream for some coming Jank and some, in this case, past Jank to be enjoyed together. And I hope you all take care. I hope your next week is free of family emergencies. Please leave a little bit of love for the Cheese Monkey and his family in the comments of the YouTube video if you're watching this now, or the stream right now if you're present. It's a hard time for him, and I'm hopefully he'll be back next week though, and I'd like to be able to show him maybe a screenshot of some support. All right, folks. Thank you, Farquad Gaming, for stepping in. Love the suggestions, and I'd love to see that. I may have to take that Scavenger's Talent plus Head Shredder deck as a Jank idea at some point. That sounds really neat. So thank you once again for stopping in. Have a good week, y'all. Stay janky, and good night.